Can you imagine this? In just a few hours, the river in a small Texas town surged from under 2 feet to over 32 cars were swept away. Homes were buried in thick mud. People had no time to react. And the worst part? This nightmare is happening again. Just 1 week after 132 lives were lost in the last flood, Texas is drowning in chaos once again. Hello everyone, this is Natural Destruction, where we bring you urgent weather alerts, in-depth analysis, and critical warnings you cannot ignore. Today, we return to the heart of Texas, where nature is unleashing its fury without mercy. On July 14th, a sudden and violent storm hit central Texas, submerging entire areas of Lampasas, Saba, and Kerr County in floodwaters. These communities, already wounded by the devastating July 4th floods, are now facing yet another disaster. This time, faster and more dangerous. The weather system behind this catastrophe is a high-pressure zone stalled between two opposing air masses. On satellite images, thick cloud bands appear locked in place, creating a slow-moving chain of storms. In some areas, rainfall reached 3 inches per hour. That's over 75 millimeters, enough to cause flooding in just 30 minutes, especially when the ground is already saturated. And that's exactly what happened. The soil could no longer absorb any water. Every drop turned into surface runoff, flooding streets, farmland, and entire neighborhoods. In the city of Kempner, the Lampasas River surged from 1.75 feet to 32.45 feet in just a few hours. In Adamsville, the Saba River rose 14 feet in 2 hours, a number almost beyond belief for local residents. Colorado Bend State Park, a popular tourist spot, was forced to close due to flood and landslide risks. County roads 3,300, 2,313, and 3,384. Completely underwater traffic came to a standstill. Homes were swallowed by the flood residents south of the Saba River. East of Highway 16 and north of Wallace Street were ordered to evacuate immediately. Rescue teams went door to door, making sure no one was left behind.
There's people in it. Oh my god, there's so many people in it. Please tell me you're getting this on video. Yeah, camp's over.
In a small corner of Sonora, where the water had risen past the car tires, 82-year-old Ellen Martinez was carried out on the back of a local firefighter. She was trembling as she spoke. "I never thought I'd have to leave my home like this. I've lived here since the 60s. At a campsite near Cherokee Creek, 2 families were trapped in their cabins. All roads had been washed away. A father called the local radio station, his voice breaking. We made it to higher ground, but we can't leave. The bridge is gone. The road, it's no longer there." Weather forecasts show the rain system will remain in the region. For at least another 24 hours, rainfall could reach up to 12 inches. The risk of landslides, flash floods, and sudden surges is dangerously high. Bridges like Highway 39, already damaged in the previous storm, are now under serious threat. The truth is, most drainage infrastructure in Texas was never built to withstand back-to-back historic floods just days apart. Rescue teams have been forced to halt all search efforts along the Guadalupe River. The water levels are simply too high, too dangerous, as extreme weather becomes more frequent. We can no longer call this a rare event. This is our new reality. So the question remains, how do we survive in a world where the next storm might come just a week later? In Menard County, a 13-year-old boy named Luis Navarro lived with his grandparents and 2 younger siblings. Their home sat less than 300 meters from the Saba River. At 3 a.m., Luis heard a terrifying sound outside the window. It wasn't rain. It was the roar of floodwaters rushing in. He quickly pulled his siblings and grandparents up to the attic. Then he grabbed a plastic canoe, the same one his father left behind before he passed away. Luis paddled into the swirling current, trying to reach someone, anyone who could help. "I just thought if I didn't do something, my whole family would drown," Luis said in tears, when rescuers finally found him, over 2 hours later. Near an isolated farmhouse, Luis's story moved the hearts of many, but it also revealed a harsh truth. Emergency alert systems still don't reach far enough into poor, rural communities where families have little to no means to escape. According to the National Weather Service, a stalled low-pressure system caught between two high-pressure zones is the reason behind this prolonged rainfall. What makes it truly dangerous is that it's not a tropical storm. There's no official name, no long-term warning, just a hidden system, silently building its strength. Forecasts warn that total rainfall over the next 48 hours could reach up to 12 inches, more than 300 millimeters, especially in low-lying areas, along the Guadalupe River, the Saba River, and surrounding tributaries. Water levels on the Guadalupe are expected to exceed flood stage overnight, putting Highway 39 at serious risk, a bridge that already cracked during the last flood. Remember this, just 1 week earlier, on America's Independence Day, July 4th. This region faced the worst flooding disaster in 30 years. 132 people lost their lives. 170 were reported missing. Many of them still have not been found. Now, just as the first signs of recovery began to appear, a second wave of floods struck again, washing away every effort, shattering every plan to rebuild. In a press briefing, Governor Greg Abbott stated, "We've deployed rapid response teams across the state, but honestly, nature this time is just too unforgiving." Are you living in a flood-prone area? Do not let your guard down. No one is fast enough to outrun water rising 2 feet. Every 15 minutes, always keep an emergency bag near the front door. Install a weather app that sends automatic alerts. Know your evacuation route to higher ground before the storm hits. And most importantly, never drive through floodwaters. Even just a few centimeters deep can sweep your car away. We've seen it happen. Hundreds of lives lost because of one simple mistake. When an extreme event happens twice, in just 7 days, it's no longer a coincidence. It's the consequence of climate change, of deforestation, of concrete replacing soil, of outdated drainage systems, and a lack of preparation. The floods in Texas are no longer just an American tragedy. They are a global warning. What you see today in Lampasas could happen tomorrow, in your own hometown, at natural destruction. We don't just report the news. We sound the alarm. We connect the shattered pieces of disaster into one global picture. So you can see, there is a pattern. And if we don't change, the consequences will only grow worse. Share this video. Speak to your local authorities, educate your family, and live with respect for nature, because we cannot fight it. We can only survive by living in harmony with it. Like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with real, accurate, and urgent weather alerts from across the world.